A nightmare scenario. Close your eyes and imagine Bo Dietl as the mayor of the city of New York.
Why is it such a nightmare? Why would it be a nightmare?
Need I elaborate? Bo, actually, look, I'm just teasing.
I love this city. I've been in this city all my life. I love it. When you look out your window, the night of the snowstorm, that Christmas time, when you look out there, you don't see one plow going on. When the snow's this deep, I got a problem. And when they're saying that they were out there, I'm watching from my apartment. I saw no trucks.
Bo, and one thing I can tell about you, just by listening to you, you would not have appointed a man from Indianapolis to be your top deputy in this city if you were mayor, correct? Well, that's what Mayor Bloomberg did with a guy named Stephen Goldsmith. He was the deputy mayor for operations. Word came yesterday that he is resigning, probably at the request of the mayor. Why? In large part, people think because of that debacle of a response to the snow in December.
Well, he's a scapegoat.
You think so?
We have a Department of Transportation head there that had to be responsible for those streets being cleared.
Well, the Department of Sanitation, primarily.
Department of Sanitation plus transportation with the buses that didn't have the chains on them that couldn't go in the snow. So that's transportation. So you know what? You got a lot of heads there that had to be slapped down, as far as I'm concerned.
Now, also, Stephen Goldsmith was not in New York for a good portion of this storm. He had a house, or has a house, in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. How do you think the mayor made the right call here?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't have put him in the first place. You got guys working up the ranks, guys who are very familiar with the city streets, what has to be done when we have an emergency situation like that. You've got to prepare. You've got to have the men on standby. You know, it all has to do with what happens over here with the weather. You know, they had a lot of cries of wolf as far as these snowstorms go, but you've got to be prepared, because when people are sick or something, imagine no ambulance, right. You're having a heart attack.
Oh, well, you know, I know, we remember. It was weird. It was totally weird, and this guy coming from Indianapolis and Harvard, having such a key role, apparently he was out to, like, he just never really could understand and grasp the intricacies
of the city,
of his job and of the city.
Well, you know, that's the same thing if you want to make, with all respect to your father, who I love very much.
What are you going to say?
If you take the police commissioner from Indianapolis and try to put him in New York, it ain't going to work. Your father's life and blood is here. Yeah. He knows what goes on in the city. He knows what has to happen. And anybody who lived here knows about it. You can't take somebody from one of these fugazi cities and all of a sudden pop them into New York. New York is New York.
Yes, however, you probably could take somebody from New York and put them in Indianapolis, because it's a smaller, more manageable. It happens all the time. We got Gary McCarthy running the show right now
can I tell the mayor?
In Chicago. What?
Can I tell the mayor?
Tell him what?
Mayor Bloomberg, I like you. Wrong call on this guy.
Okay, maybe the right call, though, in asking him to leave. We don't know if that 100% happened. You have a way of kind of conveying, hey, maybe it's time for you to leave. He resigned officially. He wasn't fired.
Yeah, but I think that was one of those, hey, guess what there, Kai? You better go back to Indianapolis, because you ain't got no job here.
Have you thought about your post-government plans kind of talk?
Well, part of my plan would be, first of all, is to take down some of these buses with that stuff that comes out of them. That when you're standing on a bus stop,
well, they're working on that.
Smoke in your mouth.
Yeah, they're working on that.
Why can't we do that?
Well, they're working on it. These things take time. But beyond that, I'm not so sure. All right, hey, you don't like buses, Bo? Then this weekend's for you. They're closing down a huge portion of Park Avenue so people can run, play, jump. They're called it the Summer Streets campaign.
Well, you know, as long as they let people know not to come into the city on the weekends, I have no problem with this. But I would have a problem if you can start shutting down streets. And I got a problem with a lot of these movie groups there. They shut down blocks and blocks and blocks. You know, in reality, how much do you really need? If you're going to film a scene on one block, why do you shut down 6 blocks? I got a problem with that.
Why don't they do it at Universal Studios in Hollywood? I'll tell you why, Bo.
Why?
Because those camera crews, those TV crews, those movie companies, they bring in a lot of business here.
I know, I'm in the movie business.
Yeah, they spend a lot of money, and the city benefits from that.
I'm in the movie business. I know about it. We're going to do a movie. You ever hear of a movie called The Gold Coast?
No.
Famous DeMille book?
Oh, Nelson DeMille.
Excuse me.
All right, all right.
Well, I mean, come on.
All right,
Nelson DeMille, The Gold Coast. We're going to do a movie, and we're going to film it here in New York. You know, they're giving tax credits and all that, but New York's a very great place to film. We did One Tough Cop, the movie. We filmed some of it in Toronto. We did the street scenes in New York. New York's important. They're giving tax initiatives here in New York. We have to bring the income and the revenue to New York. I love filming in New York, but you don't have to shut 10 blocks off.
Who played you in the movie?
Stephen Baldwin.
Very nice.
I did have another guy who was supposed to play me. That kid with the jean commercials there.
How old were you when you wrote that book about yourself?
When I wrote the book about myself, what was this condescending?
It's a memoir.
Why don't you write a book?
I admire somebody.
Greg, because you're a hero. You're a Harrier fighter pilot. You can write a book. You're the people that I talk about.
This is One Tough Cop. Bo, I admire this. I
Well,
said
go
at the
write
top
a
of the
book.
show.
Don't sit here and knock me.
It takes a certain amount of chutzpah to write a memoir.
Not chutzpah.
When you're in the prime of your life.
No, it's not chutzpah. First of all, when I retired, I didn't want to retire. See my ankle, bone on bone from parachuting, breaking my leg in half and all that. I didn't want to retire. I wanted to stay being a detective. I loved it. So then when New York Magazine put the profile of me as a feature story, I ran for Congress with Ronald Reagan there and everything, and I was catapulted.
You ran for Congress?
Oh,
what
come
district?
On, slow down.
What
6th Congressional, Joe Adabo. What kind of fact-finding trip are you on?
Bo, wait a second, all right? I'm sorry. Who knew that, Bo? Bo, I could quote you. I could quote your movie. You ran for Congress as well?
Excuse me. I got pictures with me in the Oval Office. I'm going to send you the video, and I'll tell you what, you'll eat your words. With Ronald Reagan talking about my police career in the Oval Office.
All right,
I
that's
ran
terrific.
for the United States Congress.
Yeah.
And then I was catapulted into all this high-tension stuff. They had me on TV shows. And then the next thing is they come to me and they say, Bo, you're so famous, we'd like you to write a book.
Yeah,
You'd like to write a book.
They came to you.
Exactly, and then I wrote the book One Tough Cop with Ken Gross, and it became a feature motion picture.
So he did most of the writing?
It's in italics. You know what italics means?
Yes, yeah. But
I'm a high school graduate.
Was he your ghostwriter? Was he your ghostwriter?
Are you a college graduate?
Yes, of course.
Well, I'm not, of course. I got a doctorate of the streets of New York. Okay. So you got your education.
Hey, Bo, all right.
You ever hear of italics?
Yeah, I've heard of italics.
The book is written in italics.
The whole book is written in italics?
The author writes something, then I talk and say, you know, I had some feeling in the gut of my stomach that this was the guy that raped the nun. So that's italics.
All right, so you sit down, you tell him a story, he writes it down.
Well, he puts my statement in there, that's the italic, and then he writes the author's side.
One Tough Cop available, still in print?
Yeah, but hold on a second.
What?
You got to understand something. You keep with this self-promotion. If you don't promote yourself, who's going to promote you?
Bo.
Why don't you write a book and stop making fun about me about writing books?
Bo, wait a second. We are gently tweaking you. We are not making fun because, quite frankly...
I would buy your book because I think you are an American hero. I'm waiting for you to write a book.
I don't have it in. I don't have a book in me just yet. You know what I mean? First of all, I can't have somebody else do the writing for me. I got to do the writing.
No. You talk to an author, you're talking to a tape recorder, and you put your most inner feelings on it. And you want to anybody. They wrote a book about a messenger, a bicycle messenger, Silver Streak. I mean, you can write a book about anything. Everybody has a book in them. Everybody has a book.
You know, books...
Sit down. Instead of sitting on the couch like you do, knocking me, go sit down, talking to a tape recorder, and write a freaking book.
Wait a second. How am I knocking you? We're talking about your movie. We're talking about your failed
We're
talking about your failed congressional career. We're talking, or your attempt. All right, Bo, we're going to take a quick break. Are you a fan of the Planet of the Apes? Remember the original franchise, Charlton Heston?
Yeah, let me tell you something. Charlton Heston. I don't know how they could duplicate Charlton Heston.
I know. They're going to try with James Franco. I have my doubts, but I am going to see this movie today. All right. Stay with us.
It figures. You're going to go see a movie about monkeys, and you're knocking me.
Knocking you, Mo?
Right. At 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock today.
You.
At 12 o'clock today, you're going to the movies to watch Planet of the Apes.
Yes, I am actually. I should have gone last night. I should have gone at midnight last night.
Why don't you come with me to the Hamptons? We'll drive out to the Hamptons.
Oh, the Hamptons, huh? Yeah.
All right.
A guy from the streets going to Quag this weekend. All right, stay with us. We're going to settle down. I'm going to put Bo in line, have a quick little talking to, and more show in a moment.